The Vodafone pre-match is now, and it's time to take a look into what will be the second best of three, and it's a treat for some and what will be a dismal showing for others. I have resumed the responsibilities here as host on the desk, and Alex Brandon Richardson is now currently sitting by, ready to, take some time to himself, which is completely okay because he's going to have to sit back and get ready for what is G2 versus fnatic. Both of these teams fighting for life here in Katowice, and for what it's worth, I think it's time for us to take a deeper look into this German-based organization housing some French players. Let's find out about G2 esports.
Last year was a black mark on the French CSGO scene. Its most decorated names and greatest players had failed to deliver the major and bevy of big trophies their reputations promised. When the super team broke in half, it replenished its ranks with more legends from the past. Beyond a few glimmers of light, the year was an unrelenting march into the darkness of irrelevance. Now, a new look G2 seeks to forge a new direction for French Counter-Strike. If veteran Shox and Kenny S can get it right on the third try, then perhaps France will at last see her two greatest sons lift a major trophy once again.
Yes, it is time. G2 Esports trying to stay alive here in Katowice. This major is something that they wanted to bank on for a long time, but so far the fruition of both of these teams has not shown through. Now, who we will show at this moment is our newest member to the analyst desk. It will be Jacob Pimp-Binnicky, and then to his left will be Sean Gers, @ in there with the Gers thing on the other end of it. Guys, welcome back. Sorry, man.
Feels great to be back, Trace.
It feels good to be here.
Does it now? Well, it does feel good for us. It can't feel good for G2 or fnatic. Putting themselves backs against the wall, this is not where I think anyone could have expected fnatic to be, to say the least.
No, fnatic, I had it going through 3-0. None of their players have really shown up other than Crims and Brolin in the way that they have in the past. We saw them at IEM Chicago. They almost made the finals. They had Astralis against the ropes. So I thought they would come into this event really prepared, look solid. No, quite the opposite. They had the #1 seed, and they've faltered at every step so far.
Yeah, it's just not only the fact that they're not playing some of the best Counter-Strike right now, it's the fact that they've lost to teams like Vici and Winstrike. I do know that both of those teams have been playing better than we predicted them to, but the fact that you're going down, you're losing 16-9 to Vici, not even a competitive game, not even a close game, and you're losing 16-11 to Winstrike, it's simply not good enough if you're a powerhouse like fnatic.
Yeah, and I mean, when they took on Winstrike, we're looking at a 2-round T-sided half there. That is not going to help your case at all trying to get any wins on the board. And you're right. So we've seen them lose to Vici. We've seen them lose to Winstrike. We've seen them put Greyhound out. And I think the real shining light here as we look at Mirage as our first map is Crims has been the player that has been able to put the numbers on his back. He's only had one negative performance here on maps so far. And even then, it's not like the team was there to really rally it up.
Yeah, and I think the fact that he gets the kickoff on Mirage, which everyone knows he plays around that connector spot, and he does it so well. He's one of the best players in the world at that spot. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the world anyway, but this is like his specialty, this map, and I can't see him having a bad game here.
No, me neither. And the problem for fnatic is they can't only rely on Crims. He's a good player. He's one of the best in the world, especially in that position as you were talking about, but you need a Brolin to step up. You need a Twist, who's been going completely missing in this tournament as well, to show up. I think many players, including myself, think that he's one of the best in the world when he's going, especially when he's playing FPL, especially when he's playing loose. This is one of the most talented guys we have in the game in particular, but he just haven't been able to make it work in fnatic yet, and that's a big problem for them.
And you can see big boss dog Karn there on the screen trying to get in the huddle and maybe say some words to really bounce back what is fnatic. And then on the other side with G2 Esports, formerly known as Gamers2, yes, they are a Spanish esports organization. Yes, they are based in Berlin. And yes, they are housing some French players. There's a whole lot going on there, multinational sort of thing. But in regards to their performance, yes, we've seen them take 16-14 to Vega. But Avangard and Ints definitely bested them.
Yeah, and their problem has been that their new players, their younger players aren't stepping up. Jax, Lucky, Body, all have had terrible tournaments so far, and they're relying so much on Kenny and Shox to pull through. I honestly think they could have gone out 0-3. They should have lost that game to Vegas Squadron if it wasn't for some heroics coming out of Kenny.
And this is a G2 that nobody really knew where to put. It wasn't necessarily the most prettiest of showings, but now the showing that I need from you guys is well, you know what it is. It's Mirage who's going to be winning this one.
I think Fnatic is going to win this one. You have a guy like Crims, who's one of the best in the world on this particular map. He's going to just give it to G2. I don't think they have anything to come at Fnatic on a map like Mirage, especially when, as you said, considering they have 3 players who currently are not performing up to the best.
Yeah, I'm sure G2 expected Fnatic to pick Mirage here, but historically, I don't think the French scene is that good on the map, and I have to give the edge to Fnatic here.
Yeah, and Fnatic have let down some people over time through this major thus far, and that should probably stop right about now. My pick, though, well, my pick is these next two. We do have a little bit of Vince and a little bit of Moses for you to walk us into Mirage and G2 versus that of Fnatic. Take it away, fellas.
That was a lot of bit of the boys on the desk. Thank you so much. And I think it's safe to say that both of these teams have been underperforming, disappointing, not up to the level we thought they'd be at coming into this event. They've got one more chance to fix that, to rectify that situation, fighting for survival here at IEM Katowice.
And if they don't fix it, they're gone. Much like Vega Squadron, they are on the first plane, the first train, whatever it is, they're out of here.
Or the first bar.
If that first, definitely.
One or the other. Here we go, live into the pistol round. Fnatic, 2 players with utility, Crims and Exist on Mirage, and it's right over to the A-bomb side we go, and unfortunately G2 has stacked B, but they're coming up catwalk, and that's a great start. Jax, a nice little one-tap, makes it look easy. There's going to be a lot of bodies coming in through connector. Fnatic are going to have a tough decision. How exactly do they defend this post plant?
Now it's up to Fnatic to suffocate G2, not allow them to get back on, constrict them as best as they can. And Crims, close range on his map, you'd have to say, is teeing off with the Glock, spamming wildly into connector, but his days have been cut short. Now it's on Exist and JW. Their positions very much together, and the smoke's gone down onto the bomb. Exist is going to have to pull off an insane clutch. Won't be happening. And a successful retake gives G2 the first round.
That was a really cool call from G2. 4 players over towards B initially, and that hit came out fast enough for Jax to be able to call it out. That one kill he gets is pretty important, but 3 players from G2 just pushing straight to catwalk and getting it on the retake action early on. Crims just couldn't do enough. That was a tough situation to be in, could only find the 1 kill. So 1-0 for G2. Bit of a timeout situation.
I'd assume this is a technical. Be pretty nuts if you called a tactical this early on.
We've seen crazier things.
We certainly have. I mean, I've been watching G2 this major, so yeah. I've had my mind blown multiple times, not always for the better reasons.
Well, that series that we just had was it's a bit of a butt clencher.
I imagine the heart rate of quite a few Swedes went up significantly after that one, but with the bomb plant, it does give Fnatic some options.
That's actually pretty interesting, because, I mean, Fnatic now, another Swedish team, obviously trying to replicate what their Swedish brothers just did. G2 Esports trying to also follow in the footsteps of their French brethren in Vitality qualifying for the major. G2 would have to win 2 BO3s to be able to do that.
Fnatic, without any grenades. I've been on the receiving end of a few. Some shrapnel in the teeth. A 3-player stack, now a 4-player stack in mid with Twist in underpass. So very centralized in their aggression.
I think Brolin spotted that boost, though. He's got his eyes trained on it. Lucky doesn't commit to the jump on top of the boxes. There's a good trade, and now boosted in towards window, an element of danger because that's Shock's waiting there over at jungle, and he spots it. Actually, Twist is going to come right back at him through the murder hole, and it's called that for a reason, but the B-bomb site has been opened up. Crimson JW find an entry. JW doesn't watch for the cross. He's a little bit late. Does he realize one's already through market? He finds it in the end. Can't complete the kill, a risky nade, and he's trying to do so much, and there's going to be one more. Finally comes out on top.
Unbelievable that Fnatic are in a position to potentially win this round, and they really should at this stage. Yes, Jax has full health, there's some Kevlar with an AUG, but there's 3 separate angles to watch out for. He's trying to pre-fire every single one of them. But all Fnatic now have to do is lay and wait. Jax doesn't have a kit or nades, he's out of there. Fnatic have done it, they've actually pulled this round off. And G2, I mean, that's really what we've been talking about. That's a round there that they just lost so many duels, so many unnecessary deaths.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say also great shots from the Deagles as well, chipping some players down, but certainly, I mean, we've seen a lot of these second rounds converted today. In this kind of situation, the pressure, any mistake that gets punished is going to have big consequences. G2 there, 2 players on Catwalk, and once they go down, I have to imagine that the first kill on Catwalk was from the boost. I think Brolin got killed, but the trade came out immediately afterwards. I think that was Crims who got it.
2 Orgs have also switched hands, so now Fnatic have 2 of them. And if you're G2, you probably don't want to try and face mid, because you're expecting the AKs and at least one of the Orgs to maybe have a quick peek out there, playing to their strengths.
Similar to the pistol round, though. 3 players at the B bomb site at the moment, 2 of them going towards Cat. Actually, all 3 of them kind of heading that direction. So Lucky's going to stack up in the ladder room body, and Shocks are going to try and bait and lure Fnatic into an aggressive Catwalk play. That's what this is designed for. You have Jax with the only AUG on G2 pushing into Palace, so he's gathered a lot of information. Could still be a ramp, but the information he gathers leaves them confident to keep 4 at the B bomb site.
Jungle can be crossed off the list of potential CT hiding spots, courtesy of Twist and a boost. Brolan now going to wait for that smoke to clear before he tries to make a move. Does have a smoke, so could bounce that off the wall towards Jungle. Molotov into ladder room as well. The first kill is going to go the way of G2. And they actually have Jax in Palace with an AUG, so this could get a bit sketchy for Fnatic. They're taking damage and getting some dinks actually from short, so this is getting out of control at this stage. Here comes Jax now from Palace. The bomb's been dropped. Molotov kill in amongst the chaos from Kenny S. And Fnatic only have Brolan and JW to try and dig them out this deep ditch that they're currently in. CT's gonna push. Beautiful play from JW. Able to cover his teammate, and he's just gone one better. This round could be going the way of Fnatic, and it will. A 2v4.
Just another Swedish legend stepping up when needed most. That is an insane round from JW. Snapping over very quickly to Palace to continue the cover. Bails Fnatic out of a very deep hole that they were in. I thought that positioning of Jax, when they got those 2 kills coming up connector, I thought G2 had it locked up. I thought Jax would be able to just kind of wipe them clean, but JW is just a monster inside that site. Great performance. That's a full investment from G2 that they lose. 3 players sitting right around 2,000, and they can't invest in this round. A couple P250s, a Deagle on Jax, who has 3K.
And just to show you how dominant JW's been in these first 3 rounds, 196 ADR, 4 kills, 3 assists. He has been in the mix with these Fnatic wins, and I hope that will continue. G2 certainly won't be hoping that's the case. They'll be hoping one of their star players can step up, but that's been the issue, really. 4-player stack on a B with just Shocks over on A by his lonesome. Similar setup as well with a boost. Brolan making a move through short side.
I wonder if this is some kind of like research and play calling that they've looked into by Fnatic. Even going back to the pistol round, they've had about 3 rounds where they've stacked this B bomb site. Fnatic's coming right at it. The advantage of weaponry. Haven't spotted this player to the right. Lucky's going to take his shot. He does find it. Traded immediately. Meanwhile, the flank coming in. JW hears this the whole way. He's just waiting for him to get closer. And Fnatic has just hit the brakes. They just say, all right, you want to stack this bomb site? We're not going to come in. We'll use the range of these AKs. And even that's not working perfectly.
Desert Eagle. Not quite working as Jax intended, but they're not going to check the boost spot, and Kenny S. He is going to rip through the head of JW. I think he realized and pulled off the bomb. He's like, guys, please help.
Yeah,
help me.
He just knew he was dead at that point. He could see the panic. Kenny just hiding the whole time. 3-1 for Fnatic. Now we get the buy. Kenny's got his ult. He's got no nades behind it. AUG's being picked up across the board. Nice round from Exist. Keeping his distance.
And that is the moment that JW knew
Oh crap, oh crap,
he
oh crap,
was a
oh crap.
goner.
Yeah.
He's just one of the kind of players that doesn't necessarily get flustered too often, typically performs in these kind of games, but so far, it's just an assist that's to his name, with Twist taking out the kill.
They haven't cleared that though. Shox is still in there. I don't think they even realize it. I mean, that's a super fast pace to be able to catch Kenny off guard in that fashion. A little bit of miscoordination on the Molotov and the boost. Nades out in hands on Catwalk though, and that's going to lead to the death of Lucky. Now 2 players in connector, and just can't get it done. Massive damage on a Shox.
Would have seen both in connector though, and the call will come out, allowing Twist to just sit there, wait, knowing the rotation would be imminent, looking to neutralize what remains of G2. They've now seen Body on the B side. They've got more than enough time to rotate. He stood on a Molotov. Has to get out of dodge, decides to actually extinguish so he could push back in again, but that's to his demise as Twist stands tall with the AK.
That was a very Fnatic round. Get an opening kill, get a player in a tricky position, and as you kind of start aggressing, you just have at least one player just waiting for rotations. Players across the map getting aggressive and taking control. Nice round from Twist. Even comes back to connector to clean a couple up. And it's now 4-1. G2 won the pistol round, and they have been blanked ever since. P250's purchased up a couple nades as well. G2 going to try and do some damage here. This time it's a stack at the A-bomb site. A lot of stacks so far.
Well, this is something that G2 were doing when we casted them early on the B stream. They were going 4-1 constantly, even with weapons, though. That's the mad thing. Of course, in a pistol, fair enough. You're rolling the dice, you're taking a gamble.
Yep.
But when you have guns and you're doing that, something's clearly wrong.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out here. Will be interesting. Kenny's forced back initially. He had that op in the previous round. It was taken away from him oh so quickly. Fnatic now starting to get aggressive and probe, and that is a very nice nade.
It's going to get JW into all the pistol ranges now for a headshot.
Not a lot of utility for Fnatic to use to like clear out corners and smoke off a choke point. They have 1 Molotov and 5 flashbangs, so actually they can't do any of that. 45 seconds on the clock as well. This is very slow played. They have no idea where G2 is.
They've already pushed B once and G2 are stacking that. So they could be quite apprehensive on their approach, playing more cautiously. Obviously, we have the benefit of seeing it's just Shox. 30 seconds, though. Could Shox wind back time? Could he pull off one of those crazy plays we know he's capable of? No, is the answer. Delivered from Exist.
That would have been one of the craziest if he did it there, with the deagle at that range. Berlin's going to get curious. G2 not going to fight for this round. Might try and get themselves in position to try and take some guns away, but doesn't look like it. Looks like they're just kind of pausing in Palace. Lucky the only one who really has that opportunity. No reason for them to evacuate through CT spawn, though. They can just go back through B halls or catwalk to mid, where they have teammates to support and clear the way for them. Ooh!
Well, I said he was in the range of the pistol, and JW has now been put down. A bit unfortunate. It looked like his spray was pretty close to landing the kill onto Lucky.
Yeah, he'll probably be a bit frustrated. Lucky would like to go try and get that gun. I think he knows he has virtually no chance, and definitely no time. He took a bit too long to make that. Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just snagged it in the nick of time. Decent bonus taking through into round 7. And G2 need every advantage they can get at this stage, 5-1 behind. Only round was off the back of a pistol retake. Since then, 5 rounds on the bounce for Fnatic. Some nades being traded, but not really any ground being made up. That being said, JW already peering out of Palace.
Oh, he misses the flick. He was probably focused on the far angle towards jungle. Did not expect someone to just walk in towards Palace. Why would you? 3 players on A ramp, though, and 1 at the base of connector. They can still pinch onto this site. An entry kill would be so valuable. Jax out in the open. Crims is waiting for it. Oh, that's a great shot. Jax is dinked, I think, through the edge of the box. He's going to go for another, and he's going to get it. Just 2 bullets needed. Shox can't step up, but still a long way to go for Fnatic.
And fair enough to Jax, one of the players who's been under a lot of scrutiny, at least recently. 2 big kills, but being forced out into the open from that Molotov will cost him his life. Fortunately, Kenny, with his trusty AWP, is going to put it to use. And if Low Twist is trying to rotate, he's going to run straight into Body. Oh, no. Body actually gets bested, barely tagging Twist. There is enough time for him to go B. This is where G2 may split up.
This changes the nature of this round. This changes the game entirely. Although this is a nice position from Lucky. Twist is running the whole way. Lucky's going to hear this. I think it's already too late. He'll have a fast flank, which Twist won't expect. And Kenny with the AWP on Catwalk isn't even going to get a chance at finding the kill. Second round for G2, but they take pretty heavy losses, all things considered, doing it.
I'm trying to figure out why with 20 seconds, Lucky flashes over and then walks in apps. Is he trying to fake as though he's rotating through underpass?
It's a good question.
Because otherwise it makes no sense, right?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because with that time, there's no way you can rotate to the other side. So
yeah,
you're pretty much saying, yo guys, I'm here, and then you're just not doing anything with it.
Right. I know what you mean. I don't have a good answer for you, Vince.
Feels bad, man.
I don't have them all.
I don't think anyone does for that one.
We can ask him later. Kenny's on Catwalk, waiting for a flash that would indicate Fnatic's taking top mid. He's waiting for it so we can peek afterwards. Shox and Connector. He's had a tough start to this game. Crims with the opening kill on Jax is going to pull Shox's attention away, but not for long. He turns back. He's going to spot the head of Twist. He gets the dink, gets the completed kill. And now Kenny's in perfect position. That's a great 1-2 punch for G2 in mid.
Looking to resurrect their CT half. Some damage has been thrown across to Kenny S and Lucky. But they still have that player advantage intact. And Fnatic are a bit split up. They got Crimson Palace, the other 2 players in mid. Just the one smoke with 2 Molotovs, one of which can be tossed into Shadow, which is where Shox currently is. Gonna go for this boost again, it would seem. If they do, Lucky could spot them through Murder Hole. He's playing more of this passive sort of style. I mean, at the end of the day, they actually have no vision at all over short. So for all he knows is a player in ladder at this point. Looks like we're about to get that engagement that we've been waiting for. Shox moving up onto the balcony. He's going to be able to get the free kill onto Crims, and in doing so, this push has been stalled. Exist going to try his best to push straight through anyway. He fears no man, but 8 seconds on the board, and there is Shox for 1 and 2 more. 3 rounds to G2, 2 in a row now.
Yeah, 4 kills in the round for Shox. A nice performance. Crims, it's a hard corner to clear for him when he comes out of the smoke like that in Palace. With the clock running down and Crims dinked, that's not a fight you can really go chase down. So G2 is recovering slowly but surely. They've won the last 2. That time they survive with a good amount of players still up, so they can build up some cash flow. Looks like Fnatic this round wants to head towards the B-bomb site. 3 players here. You imagine it would be a split, but Shox has all the information. Shox hears everything. Shox is walking up. Exist is going to check, and he's not going to be able to win that fight. A very fast headshot for Shox, and Fnatic want to chase him down. 2 players going up Catwalk, though, and actually Body is completely caught off guard. They need to find this kill, and they've got it. Brolin with the CZ. Crims now wants to take a long-range duel. But these positions, G2 got aggressive, and they have so much control of this map. Fnatic's have no idea Jax is here.
They read the round so well. They had 3 players over on the B side with Shox also in underpass. So Jax now can just sit in position and wait. Oh, Twist with a lightning fast headshot. Jax is going to be devastated he didn't clutch that one. And in doing so, G2 now go from a commanding position after Shox picked up the first kill and was able to retreat to potentially suffering and struggling. Brolan's going to go in with another, and Crims will finish it off. That kill onto Twist was so important.
Oh, that was a beautiful reaction from Twist. I don't know how he landed that headshot, and you can see the strength of that position. We talked about it in the previous series with Nip and Vega. That ladder room position, you put Crims in there. He was like the original. He's like the OG of that room. You put him in there, he just gets to sit and wait. Kenny doesn't even get a chance to go for a second kill, eliminated immediately, and Fnatic call a timeout. Want to build upon this win, want to take everything away from G2, who don't have a lot of money to begin with in this round. Kenny and Shocks right around 4,500. Outside of them, you won't be too pleased with what you can purchase.
Body's woes continue. 36 ADR. It's a rough one. I mean, Brolan's on 34, but hasn't really been required that much when you've got 112, 88, 84 on some of his teammates. I think you said this yesterday, there's only a certain amount of damage to go around on a team.
Damage and kills, it's a finite amount each and every round. Shocks. Firing his pistol, he has an AUG, so he's trying to make it seem like it's going to be a save round out of G2. Is Fnatic going to take the bait?
Shocks moving in, gets caught from the side, and Brolan's Mach 10 delivers the fatal shot with the AUG trading hands. Body now has to move out of position. Again, it was a heavy B stack. A lot of presence over on the B side of the map.
It's the three guns as well. Jax is the defender at A, and he's got the Deagle. SMG and the 2 rifles are at the B bomb site. Even Jax might just gamble here. Might just flip the coin and say, we'll see what happens. And because they have so many bodies at this B bomb site, they can actually make sure they're not getting flanked through window room. This is a very dangerous situation for Fnatic. I'm really curious how they're going to handle this. Jax wants to go for the peek. He's going to get it. Brolan was low already, thanks to Shocks. And Fnatic is walking right into a trap.
Oh no, they're going straight into the stack, but Twist able to jump straight out and get the kill into Lucky, who had no idea that was coming up. Zero cover of each other. Body's gonna get the kill into Exist. Bomb planted in amongst the smoke, but it's down to Body, and Twist continues to impress. A 3K, and Fnatic cruise to a 7-3 lead.
Yeah, he's on one. And it's not much of a trap if you're not watching for that play. Whoever's playing in that gut right corner, shadow, whatever you want to call it, he's going to be frustrated. You got 2 teammates there, and no one's looking for that player coming out the window. That's unfortunate for them. Nice round from Twist, as you said, reacting perfectly into the smoke just after he plants the bomb. 7-3 in the favor of Fnatic, and they've taken all the guns, all the money away from G2. It's going to be a save round. It actually is one this time. And Twist with that up spots some aggression coming and just backs off.
Brolan's going to take some damage, but it's Lucky that's first to fall in round 11. Just being careful, checking all the angles. Only the 1 kill in retaliation, and as expected, Fnatic easy 8th round.
He said Brolan was having a tough start to this game, and he was the only one to fall there. And all that chaos, all the Fnatic players running out. I think he came up 3rd, and he was still the person to get targeted.
Just one of those days, mate. Or
yeah, those are the worst games when you're just like, I really just can't do anything.
That's every game for me. At that stage, I'm just like, look, I'm a big boy. I'll just be the meat shield. Just let me go in first. I'll absorb all the bullets.
I will be a team player.
Exactly.
Smoke's out, and it's going to be a dedication to the A bomb site.
Oh,
we go. Oh, dear.
Easy 8th round.
You said Brolan was having...
And I can hear myself.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, Brolan's got a headshot, and they're actually entering into this A bomb site. There's 1 defender left. That was Kenny, and he gets knifed. Somehow, we said Brolan had a tough start to this game. He just got 3 kills, and he knifed Kenny. In your face.
Just let me go in first. I'll absorb all the bullets.
There you are. You sound great.
Thanks,
You sound really good.
You sound pretty good yourself.
Thanks.
Lucky and Body, 2 players. It's going to be rough with like hearing a loop of ourselves in the background.
Nah, we can do it. We can handle it. 8-3. It's about to be 9-3 for Fnatic. And he knifed Kenny. In your face. In your face. I really hope the audience can hear this too, otherwise we just
sound crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bomb is planted, and just waiting for the end of this round. Lucky and Body going to keep those M4s moving forward, and they don't have enough to drop an M4 or an AUG, which is a little bit unfortunate.
In the meanwhile, Fnatic gonna just keep cruising. No reason to change anything up. 4 rounds in a row. Mid control's been pretty easy to come by from their perspective. tactical timeout for G2.
It's crazy to think it's one of those games. G2 wins the pistol round and only have 3 rounds total. That is crushing. On the CT side of Mirage.
And the other 2 rounds were back-to-back. So
Yeah.
you've just got these vast plains of T rounds, these oceans of T rounds with a couple of CT islands spread in the middle.
It's all right. Maybe they're like, maybe the islands have coconuts and rum
Tactical timeout
on them.
for G2. Sounds pretty good.
It's crazy to think it's one of those
Unfortunately, it
games-
won't save you from being knocked out the major, though.
No, it won't. Maybe help you ease the pain.
Perhaps. But 3 rounds in your CT side of Mirage is simply not good enough. You feel like they're probably going to have to get up to around the 6 mark. At least 5.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. You would certainly like to think so. 2 players defending these B halls back of the truck. Body's there as well, and he's the close-up. He's got one of the M4s. He's going to get aggressive, so if he goes down here, they can't recover this. There's the flashbang. Twist turns from it. Twist has been on point, and that's exactly what you don't want if you think G2 is going to move on, and you don't want that either. Lucky missing a lot. And here we go. Shox has got one with the pistol. He's got second one. That's at long range as well. Impressive from Shox, but quickly the opportunity to seize is shut down, and Jax is going to get dropped coming out of the smoke. 10-3.
And Twist, of course, historically was the player in Sweden that was one of the most frustrating. He always seemed to prefer to dip down to the lower tier teams. Never quite took his opportunity to go to the big teams. And yet here he is, fragging out 12-8.
Yeah, he has a really interesting story in his career, doesn't he? Because I know, like, there was always rumors of NIP and fnatic at various points during some of their struggles that they've reached out to him to join the team, and he was always like, nah, I'm good.
Playing with friends, that
Yeah,
sort of
I'm
stuff.
just chilling. Now he's here. Great shot from JW. He beats Kenny S to the angle. Kenny hasn't been able to get anything going with that AWP.
Absolutely not. I mean, to be fair to Fnatic, they've done a great job of marshalling mid and just making sure the smokes are consistently landing in window, connector. There's not really been much that Kenny could do. Twist again. Who else with an entry already on the B side? This is just falling to pieces for G2. This is a horror of a CT side so far. Twist is going to go down, but so is Shox. 4-on-2 now in favor of Fnatic as they look to barrel down on A site, which is where Jax is all alone.
I mean, Fnatic is having such a fast pace and they're finding so much success early on. First of all, there's no reason for them to slow down. Second of all, because they find these kills so quick, they're just, G2 is the ones who have to respond, find information, make an aggressive play to try and even things out, and Fnatic is just feasting upon that.
This is the Fnatic that I was looking out for when we first started casting against Vici.
Listen, I made a tweet when Fnatic went 0-2, and I said, don't worry, Fnatic's going to bounce back. They're going to make it to the major. I stand by that until I see who they play in the next round.
It's a bold statement. But then again, of course, we're on best of 3s now. It's not best of 1s anymore.
Yeah.
So the shock and awe of certain best of 1s not going to be an issue.
Well, you're exactly right as well. This is a different Fnatic than what we saw against Vici. Which is, it's crazy to think I don't know if maybe just collectively, a lot of these teams that are quote-unquote favorites to like make it out of this stage just underestimated everyone, or if they actually just came in flat. It's one thing if you underestimate and you don't have the right mindset. It's another thing if you're coming in and you're just not warmed up properly or just not playing well in general. It happens sometimes.
Perhaps a bit of column A and B.
Yeah.
Maybe a mixture of the two. But one thing's for sure, when it's got to the best of 3s, Fnatic certainly have awoken. Better late than never. And G2, well, they got Famas's and MP9 to try and get a 4th round on their CT side. This is Fnatic's choice of map, but that doesn't excuse how poor this CT side has been.
Well, we saw the stat as well. This is Fnatic's second best map overall. You have to imagine G2 banned their first best map, but they have a pretty solid win. I think they're 7-1 in their last 8 or something, if I recall that stat correctly. This round's a bit more subdued from Fnatic. We're not seeing that pressure be applied to G2 very fast. Last round of this first half of this series. Both teams trying to stave off elimination.
That is the end prize for today. You get to live a little bit longer in the major.
24 hours.
And then there's another best of 3. Body. Close range.
Oop.
Crims spots a pixel of a shoulder drop down, and that's going to bait him into a false sense of security. Wasn't expecting the double stack.
Yeah, I was going to say that was actually probably the worst thing that could have happened for Crims. Shox is pushing through Palace and getting a ton of information. He's going to go clear out a ramp. But actually, if Twist speeds this up, they can actually make this work before the flank from Shox comes to fruition. And with only one player who came up ramp, could take a limited amount of damage from it. How long does he hold his trigger? Oh, dear. There we go. Swaps out to the AK, and the battle is on.
And it should have already finished. From his position, it's so hard to see how Brolan can do anything. In one fell swoop, the round was done. Brolan is valiantly attempting to salvage it, but it's not going to happen. 11-4 to fnatic.
Yeah, very dominant first half. Fnatic got everything they wanted. They just ran over G2. We'll see if G2 can do the same after the break. A massive lead for Fnatic, up 11-4 at halftime, and there was no resistance out of that G2 defense. Now switching sides, we'll have to see if they can get anything going. Which of their players is going to step up to try and make this comeback happen? That's a very deep hole to dig out of if you're G2. This pistol round means everything.
First order of business is indeed the pistol. They lose this, it's going to be a rocky road from here on out. So far, I haven't really seen anything from G2 to make me believe that they can pull this back, but I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong if they do. JW sees a bit of action in mid, going to back away, giving up mid control completely. 3 players stacked from Fnatic on B, but Brolan does have a kit. They're playing for the retake completely here.
It's not going to be an easy one. G2's done a great job of getting positioning. Lucky waiting for that push on Catwalk from Exist, who is alone. This is much different from the retake G2 tried to do a same initial setup, but instead of coming off catwalk as a group and going towards connector, they've all gone through CT spawn, leaving Exist alone to get picked off.
Jax up close can hear the pitter-patter of footsteps on the other side of the box, but he has been close-lined by JW. Kenny S had a bit of a quiet one. Now would be a good time to step things up. Gonna be stabbing through the smoke and slices Brolan into little pieces. And then Glock bursts. Twist to the side of the head. G2 have picked up the second pistol.
They picked up the first one as well. It's both pistols going in the way of G2 and only 5 rounds to show for it. So still a long way to go, and you have to imagine that's exactly what Shox is saying. Just everyone, step 1 is complete. Everyone calm down. Got a long way to go before we can get excited. Good round from Kenny S. The knife in the smoke, the Glock at long range, and the finishing touch on Twist. fnatic, you have to think, with such a big lead, no reason to risk so much of your economy. Deagle's a scout bought up and actually tagged on Lucky, but no armor, no utility. They're content to use this lead to make sure they can get all the powerful weapons in their hands.
One scout shot has landed thus far. JW tries his hand through the smoke. And now G2 going to exploit the lack of weaponry and utility and push straight on to B, where Twist is currently sat. And he will be laid down by Jax. JW misses his second chance. That should be the round done. Although Exist is going to at least take down Lucky and pick up a UMP for himself.
That'd actually be pretty nice if you get one more kill with that, get the bonus money from the SMG. I don't think it's going to happen. Exists beneath, doing his best res impression. The jumping is where it stops, though. No kills for him. 11-6, G2. Pretty close, all things considered.
Here is G2 just mopping up the round from fnatic, and now a buy will be coming in. JW is going to go for another scout.
We saw earlier in the tournament when we casted one of the G2 games, Shox was really the best performing player on an overpass match. He's got 15 kills and 14 here. The only positive kill-death ratio on his team. And if he's going to be that assertive the way he was with the MAC-10, yes, it's going against unarmored pistols, but we at least like to see the playmaking decision out of a player like Shox.
Absolutely. It has become a bit of a cliche, but it really is true with G2. You were looking at Shox and Kenny to be the two talisman. The two guys to stand and deliver.
Waited years for those two players to be on a team together.
Absolutely. So, if Kenny can start to get in amongst the kills with the AWP further down the line, then this might get quite interesting. It's already twisting and turning, perhaps away from fnatic, but Crims is going to find Lucky with his FAMAS.
Well, Brolan's going to have a chance to have an impact in this round. JW's got to be very careful, though. Top of ticket booth, he drops away. One player connector, 3 coming up the A ramp. Brolan's got to drop a smoke at his feet, a tag, trying to finish with the USP. It's not going to happen, but Brolan twirls out of his own cover.
Crims can trade across to the AK as well, so one tap potential now in play. 30 seconds coming up, and Brolan doesn't need to move from his position. The Molotov's a little bit too far, shallow for G2 Esports liking. And now Shox close range with his MAC-10 could be called into action. There's 2 players to his right-hand side. In fact, 3. They can look to boost one into window while Brolan will claim the kill onto Jax. Shox with 1 and a second while jumping onto Exist, and that could be the round. Swept away from fnatic after starting so well. It came crumbling down.
Yeah, it most definitely is. Crims doesn't have a kit. And Kenny S takes his head off. 11-7 G2, looking dangerous now. The tables have turned. Perfect positioning from Shox. Got to give a shout out to Jax as well. We didn't see the frag from his POV. This is it right here. Covering the planter. If he's not able to do that, if he's not able to cover him, either the planter or he goes down, that round is completely different. That player in CT spawn was the linchpin to fnatic's defense. It all crumbled after that. G2 just lining up for a straight hit towards the A bomb site. They looked a little bit lost and out of the game on CT side, but they have started to look pretty clean here on T side.
They certainly have. They've kept Fnatic's economy down. They've kept punishing them.
I'm pleasantly surprised this lead is going to disappear real soon.
Yeah, I was hoping to see more from G2 in the second half, and thus far they have delivered. A lot of it off the back of the pistol, though. Crims with the Desert Eagle. Popping heads. He will die by very much the same fate. Nade to JW. Unless Brolan can put this P250 to use, it's looking like another round will go the way of the Frenchman. The only saving grace is that they're all pretty healthy at this stage. And exist round the corner with Brolan. They don't have a kit, and time is going to start to become a bit of an issue now for Fnatic. But they've already done way more damage than anticipated. Both players are low, but Jax is going to clutch it out. The round was probably done anyway, but at least he holds on to his AK-47.
I think they would have had time. He was low on HP, Jax, as well. That was so incredibly close. Taking a lot of the guns away from G2, who have plenty of money to sustain after that, but that one got dicey. 11-8 lead for Fnatic, but they have not won a round in this second half. It's been 4 straight to start things out. Jesus, those Deagles can just open everything up. Here we go. Jack's going to lead the way towards top mid. JW is held back by a Molotov to start. A follow-up Molotov as well. G2 conserving their smokes. Jax is hurt. Crims, is he going to peek? Yes, he sees the Molotov. He goes for Catwalk. He gets 2 more. Great kills from Crims. He might have just secured Fnatic their first round. It's a 2-on-4.
And he could have just put G2 into a horrible spot financially. Off the back of that last round, they're not exactly looking too pretty in terms of funds. Maybe Shocks, unlucky, have an ace up the sleeve, or perhaps not. Has been stripped away. Twist and JW come in with the final 2 kills. Only Exist dies, so all around a fantastic round for Fnatic, and they will move to 12-8 in the lead.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see the call in this round from G2. They are going to go for a timeout. Probably 1, to talk over what strategy they want to run. 2, to decide if they even want to buy in this. You mentioned G2 is pretty much of the virtue of that previous round, taking a lot of the money away from the French side, but the reason I say they're going to talk about what strategy they want to run, they just spotted the double op setup. They just saw Twist got a kill with the op, and so did JW, so they know there's 2 ops in play for the defense. You can craft a strategy around that. You have to know at some point on Mirage, you'll likely face up against a double op. If they can get into a bomb site, if they can minimize damage that they take from those ops on their path in to get the bomb planted, post-plant can be difficult for Fnatic.
Yeah, a good way of countering double ops is to go for a set play and just get up in the face as quickly as you possibly can. Neutralize the op, take it out of its comfort zone.
And you have some of the weaponry for it. Body's on the MAC-10, so he can be very mobile, he can be very fast and aggressive, and he can also, as we have seen, jump around corners with it. And you can see here, getting up mid quickly. Crims, top connector, he's going to be in front of that smoke with a flashbang, just ruins his life. JW and Brolan to sustain, and Shox knows he's got the angle. That smoke actually destroys JW.
Yeah, it's not a great smoke, is it? It's allowed a lot of maneuverability for Shocks. He can now look to try and make a play, but JW is a step ahead. Leaving Lucky versus the world.
I really don't mind the decision to buy in that round for G2. I mean, it goes the wrong way, obviously, but I mean, you can understand why they do it. They had the 2 rifles, they had, you know, pistols and MAC-10s, and they knew there was a double op, so they kind of had all the information they wanted to make a decision.
What they didn't have, unfortunately, for them is a successful round. They go 13-8 behind, and because of the force buy, well, now they have nothing.
Fnatic's got 3 players at 15 and 2 players at 16. It's a full house. They are all playing well together.
That is spine-chilling if you're a G2 fan right now, but everybody is showing up. Dust 2 is next, which is a map that G2 certainly have prowess on. That's a map that you're expecting Kenny S to show up. If he doesn't show up on Dust 2, then...
Well, I mean, it would potentially, if they go on to drop this map, that Dust 2 would be their last map of the major, right? You'd think, if he doesn't show up?
Exactly. Even more pressure on his very capable shoulders, but...
Let's be honest, we expect Kenny to show up in every map.
That's very true.
We know just how good he is. 13-8 in the favor of fnatic. They need him now, or they need him next round when they'll have the guns. Strikes me as being a French timeout, which essentially just means a round of only pistols where you don't have a high likelihood of winning. Just sit back and spawn and talk things over. Sacrifice the round to a discussion, and you get to have a timeout without actually using a timeout. Your coach can't talk, but the players and Shocks can talk everything over.
Additionally, if in amongst all this stalling and not pushing in, you can waste some grenades from fnatic, all the better for it. And now they've decided that they're going to make a move in. The Frenchmen ready to commence their push onto B side, but Twist and Exist will have them covered. Nade kill with JW on a pistol. And fnatic, as expected, as anticipated, will take a 14-8 lead. But that entire round was all built about what we're about to see now. What did G2 have? This is the time to show any tactics that you've been hiding.
Yeah, you better go to your favorite, right? Your bread and butter tactic. The tough part is, again, I mean, we just had a discussion about Kenny S and how you were expecting Kenny S to show up. He doesn't even have money for an AWP. Even if he wanted to go glass cannon, he just doesn't have the cash flow for it. Lucky could drop him one, but then he won't be able to get armor on the AK that's dropped over to him. So you'll be without an op more than likely. Should be able to grab some utility.
fnatic just a couple steps away from claiming their map in this 1-2 elimination matchup. So much on the line. We saw Nip narrowly escape defeat earlier today against Vega Squadron, who were sent packing. And G2 have decided that mid-control is the way forward. Smokes on short, window, flashbangs alongside them. But they've lost the first player, Jax. Extinguished by JW's AWP.
Oh, this is right on the edge. Krim spotted one, but can't connect the shot. Gives up his position, and wisely so. He's overexposed. G2 must have this round, and they are a player down. They're going to reconvene towards that A bomb site. 3 players for fnatic at B. There is one on catwalk. That's Krim's. Krim's has been defending this connector from a multitude of different positions. And you assume when this hit does eventually come in, he will swing out to take that fight. I'm not sure how effective Body will be able to be in this situation.
But it's going to be a hit with no smokes here, Jason. They only have flashbangs left. They've used all their smokes in mid.
Oh dear.
And to make matters worse, Brolan is in Palace.
Yeah, he's the ace up the sleeve, isn't he?
G2 on a razor's edge on Mirage, and they have so little to push forward with. There's still 2 flashbangs, and now Body's going to make a move through connector. He's going to be a huge part of this jigsaw piece if they can somehow pull this one off, but Lucky. And his spray goes awry. And this push has by and large been nullified. Shox is trying to resurrect it, trying to bring this back from the dead. And so will Body. JW sent sprawling out of the round, but Exist stops Shox from planting. The bomb's gone out. 7 seconds left, and Body can't do it. He's going to try and save the AK. fnatic will have 7 map points.
Yeah, that did just crumble. When they get back towards that A ramp and you just see no smokes and JW with the AWP and CT spawn, you know it's kind of all over from there. He's at least going to get 1. G2 just not enough utility to make their way into the site. 19 kills now on JW, 18 each on Exist and Twist. Or excuse me, was it Twist and CT spawn?
Well, here we go. It's sink or swim. Jason on Mirage for G2 now.
Yeah, this double up setup from fnatic on the defense has been incredible. G2 caution to the wind, fast pace towards the B bomb site, and I think actually they kept running a little bit long. I think fnatic's going to know what's coming.
They sure will. This feels very telegraphed. I mean, they've already got 2 players in prime position. With Krims making a move up mid, he can quickly wrap around on short side. Plus JW. Twist is watching it, though, from the catwalk. with his AWP. 3 players stack up. Actually misses that shot, which could cost Exist his life. He's already gone in on 1. Roland has his left-hand side covered. Exist is just a one-man army. 3 kills to his name. And Shox is the final player to fall. 16-8, comfortable in the end for Fnatic.
Yeah, just a small hiccup at the start of the second half. 4 rounds went to G2, but Fnatic closed that door real quick. Dominant performance from the Swedes in map 1. When we return from the break, we'll have the desk, and then we'll have map 2.